Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give you praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Bakar Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule impeccably well. Shalom to the hopeful elect, pushing his truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe, in the sincere hopes of being delivered in these last days, alright? This is the brother Yakanan from the GMS England branch, back here with another video, in transit edition video. Lord willing, it'll be edifying unto you brothers out there and few sisters listening and learning. Now, this video is inspired by a video uploaded by the elder Ramah of GMS, England, my camp head. And he done, a video regarding the Royal Mail strikes. And one of the brothers had posted a picture, or rather a document, regarding the strikes and, the various different dates that the strikes are going to be covering. And, like the elder was going into, there's a lot of dates on that list. There's going to be a lot of days where the Postal Service over here in the UK is not going to be active, which is going to cause, pure mayhem. All right, it's going to cause pure mayhem, and it's going to bring forth, unimaginable delays. All right, and it's going to cause a lot of problems because, the Postal Service is a very key service, that's provided in society. All right, and businesses need, the Postal Service. All right, it stops a lot of things from, being able to be done, when you don't have a functioning Postal Service. All right, so it's going to cause a lot of mayhem. Now, the elder also mentioned, food shortages. That it's a spirit because, I wanted to do a video, regarding an experience I had, a few days ago and also yesterday regarding, going to the supermarket and, the shelves just being totally empty. All right, there's been a lot of stores I've been into recently where, the stock is very limited. Even when they do receive stock, and I'm talking about, your Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Asda, the food chains that we have over here in the UK. What I've been noticing is that even when they do get, a delivery, the delivery is not as big as it used to be. All right, and I was having a conversation with, one of the managers, and he was basically telling me that, yeah, they've been cutting down on the amount of stock they've been sending, to these stores. And, when you go into the stores, and again, the elder was mentioning this too, all you're finding is, various gaps where products used to be. So what I've noticed as well is that particular products are not even being sold no more. It's like certain things have been almost, discontinued for sale, by particular stores. So you might have to go to another store to get it. And what I've also noticed is that obviously, prices have gone up. All right, for meat, prices have gone up, for, your bare necessities, your rice, your oil, so on and so forth. And these things are only going to continue to get worse. All right, these things are only going to continue to get worse. Now, yesterday, I went to buy some water. You buy the bottled water. Usually, I buy it in like, 5, 6, 7 crates, right? Now, I went to one, shop where I usually get my water, my bottled water, and I wasn't allowed to buy the quantity that I usually buy. I wasn't allowed to buy the quantity I usually buy of this particular water. And you know, the owner basically told me that he's got to, you know, limit a particular number to each customer because he doesn't know when he's gonna get his stock replenished again. And I was like, damn, like, you know, what's happening? He's like, you know, I can't get hold of any crates of water like I used to, you know? It's very hard to find. He said all the suppliers, you know, he said for some reason, and he said he doesn't know the reason, he said for some reason, they're just not supplying him the same stock like they used to. So he's not able to make, you know, big purchases like he used to, even though he has the money, okay? And that's water, all right? So I've also noticed that in, you know, Sainsbury's, you know, another food chain over here in the UK, I went to buy my mother, you know, some water last week, and it was completely, you know, it was, you know, the big waters, you know, the 1.5 liters was completely gone, you know, and they didn't replenish it for a good 2 weeks. So then people started reverting to buying, you know, the smaller bottles in order to replace that. All right, and that's been happening a lot, you know. So you've had water, you know, bare necessities, you know, going missing. There was also a time when I went to buy milk, you know, for my mother in her local shop, you know, her local supermarket, and they didn't have the milk. You know, the ones that she likes to buy, it was missing for weeks, and then finally it came in. So bit by bit, you know, they're taking away, you know, key items and putting them back, you know, and taking them away and putting them back. It's almost like they're playing with the minds of the people. They're gradually taking things away, okay? They're gradually taking things away from the people, man, okay? And that includes, you know, the whole Royal Mail, you know, particular things, you know, in your supermarkets, okay? And this is happening, you know, all over the UK, and I'm sure it's happening in various different parts of the world. And you just had that massive, I believe it was a fire or some sort of an explosion at one of the biggest food plants in France, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That came out, you know, some days ago. All right, so they're strategically, all right, hitting up these food factories to basically withdraw a substantial amount of availability of food for the people. All right, so this is all by design. Okay, this is all by design. All right, that these things are happening. All right, so things are going to continue to get worse, and the scriptures tell us that, you know, the storehouses, you know, should be empty. Okay, them warehouses, you know, them big warehouses, soon they're not going to have any food in them. All right, and it's going to get to the point where everything is going to be government controlled, just like in times of war. All right, when the government will give people rations to live on. All right, and we already experienced that, you know, during the pandemic. All right, a few years ago, what they were doing, there was a particular food chain by the name of Morrison's. All right, now it wasn't mandatory, but what they were basically doing, all right, and, you know, going back to the gradualism, what they were basically doing is they created ration packs in Morrison's, all right, where you would buy a box and it would have potatoes, it would have, you know, sausages, pork sausages and shit, it would have bacon in there, there might be a few carrots, you know, parsnips, all right, what else did they have in there? You know, potatoes, parsnips, carrots, and maybe a bag of rice, all right, and they were selling that for like £30. And I was like, hey, these people are getting ready to ration food, all right, because at that point, that wasn't really necessary, all right, that wasn't necessary at all. But the fact that they put it out there like that, all right, they're definitely, you know, preparing the people to get used to that kind of lifestyle, man. All right, they're definitely preparing the people to get used to that kind of lifestyle, because that's exactly what's going to happen, all right? Now, very soon, again, you got all of this, you know, stuff happening in the world, you know, with the Nord Stream, all right? You got the whole thing in it over here in the UK where they have to change over the money, you know, to put, you know, Prince Charles, well, now King Charles, you know, the third's face on the money, all right? But the pound is at all-time low. Don't think, you know, these things are by coincidence, All right, there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything is controlled. All right, everything is controlled, and these things that you see happening, they're happening, you know, for a reason. They're happening to fuel a particular agenda that the elites are pushing, which is the New World Order agenda. All right, the NWO. All right, so that's what's happening. All right, so you know, you got various parts of society that's shutting down. I remember the elder also done a video, you know, regarding, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was judges, you know, that were going on strike. You know, particular, you know, people in the courts, you know, they were going on strike. All right, and then you have the thing over there, you know, in America, in Chicago, January the 1st, where they're gonna pretty much, you know, turn, you know, second-degree murder into a petty crime, man. All right, so hey, it's getting bad out here, man. It's getting really bad out here. But Kahalayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Kadash. All right, because this is the end of Esau Edom's kingdom, man. All right, so with that, Lord willing, this brief lesson was edifying, and until the next time, I'll say Shalom.